Hi, today I'm going to read you this version of Disney's Cinderella. And you can probably tell this is a very old, well-loved book. This is the one that I grew up with. So I thought maybe you would enjoy seeing it. This is the land where long ago a beautiful maiden lived. Her name was Cinderella. Cinderella lived in a splendid house, but she was not happy. Her two stepsisters, Drizella and Anastasia, and her stepmother were very cruel. In fact, they were as cruel as Cinderella was good and beautiful and kind. These were Cinderella's only friends in the splendid house: Jock the mouse, Gus the mouse, Bruno the dog, and the little birds who lived nearby and sang to her each morning. Each day Cinderella scrubbed and swept and sewed for her sisters and her stepmother. It was very hard work, but she sang while she worked, and she talked to her friends, the birds and the mice, and she was gay and sunshiny as you please. That was why one day her most wonderful dream came true. This is the palace where the prince lived and where he gave his wonderful ball. Cinderella's stepsister said the prince would choose one of his lovely ladies, that the prince would choose one of the lovely ladies at the ball to be his bride. "Oh my," said Cinderella, "if only I could go too." But the cruel stepsisters laughed. "How could you go?" they jeered. "You don't have a gown to wear." We'll help," shouted Gus and Jock and their little mouse friends. And they did. They made a beautiful dress of old lace and beads and scraps of ribbon. Oh, Cinderella was happy then. "Look at me," she sang. "Now I can go to the ball." But Anastasia and Drizella were angry because Cinderella looked so pretty. They tore the lace from the dress. They snipped the beads and the ribbons. Soon there was nothing left but rags. Poor, poor Cinderella. She ran out into the garden, and there, all alone, she cried bitterly. But look, who is this? Why, it's Cinderella's fairy godmother. "Don't cry, Cinderella," said the fairy godmother. "I will say my magic words, and you may go to the ball after all. Bibbidi, bobbidi, boo!" And then, do you know what happened? A pumpkin nearby turned into a coach. The little mice turned into fine horses. Big Bruno the dog became a footman. And best of all, Cinderella was dressed in a gown fashioned of moonlight and stardust. On her tiny feet were lovely glass slippers. "Have a good time," said the fairy godmother. "But leave the ball at midnight, Cinderella, because that is when the magic spell will be broken." This is the ball where Cinderella danced, and this is where the prince fell in love with her. And this, why, this is what she left behind when the clock struck 12. One little glass slipper that sparkled and glittered in the moonlight. The prince looked everywhere for his beautiful lady, but he could not find her. Cinderella walked home through the darkness, in rags once more, with her little mouse friends. In her pocket she carried the other little glass slipper to remind her of her wonderful evening at the ball. This is the Duke who was sent by the prince. He had the tiny glass slipper that Cinderella had left behind, and he was going to try it on every maiden in the kingdom till he found the lady who could wear it. He tried it on Drizella. He tried it on Anastasia. But poor Cinderella was locked in her bedroom upstairs. No one told the Duke that there was still another sister in the splendid house. "What'll we do? What'll we do?" squeaked Jock the mouse. Then he had an idea. Quickly he climbed into the stepmother's pocket and stole the key to Cinderella's bedroom. Then he and the other mouse carried it all the way upstairs. They pushed it under the door. "Hurry, hurry," squeaked Jacques. Here is the wicked stepmother, who was very angry when Cinderella escaped from her room. She threw the Duke's glass slipper angrily to the floor. "Oh, oh, this is terrible," shouted the Duke. "You will be punished for this, madam." "But it doesn't matter," said Cinderella softly, "for you see, I have the other slipper." And she had, right there in the pocket of her apron. Then the Duke was happy, and Jacques and Gus were happy, and the birds were happy too. But Cinderella and the prince were happiest of all, for after that their loveliest dreams came true together. And that was a very, very, very old version of Disney's Cinderella. Hope you enjoyed it and that you subscribe and come back often, and we'll see you next time on Stories with Grandma.